What's up, guys? So this is a response to Crypto Gambles. Left a comment asking how I got my CDL and what got me to this point. Well, so the funny thing is, I had no intentions of getting my CDL early on. I had kicked around the idea of doing like some RV transport, and for a lot of that you don't need a CDL. And I started reading into it and seeing, there was quite a few people that did have their Class A CDL, and they were doing hotshot trucking and just all kinds of different things. So I just kind of did a little Google search, and there's a truck driving school not too far from here, TDI, and they're the first ones popped up. I gave them a call. They were like, hey, we're accepting students. They gave me the rundown. It's like a 3-week class, and basically you do everything there. You do all your practicing and studying and all that there, and you actually test at the facility there too. So I went ahead and signed up. I think the class costs probably around $5,000, but there's grants out there. Occasionally you can get, help through whatever state you're in. I'm sure there's some kind of financial assistance you can get, because there was one that was available to us, but apparently it like expired. So I don't know how that works, but they'll put you in touch with somebody and help you out with all that. But yeah, it was a 3-week deal. Got up every day at 5 in the morning, drove down there. It was like 25 minutes to get there, and was basically there until about 5 o'clock in the evening. My first week was kind of dumb because we did our drug tests and all that, and they got hung up somewhere, like when they sent them off, and we didn't actually start. Like, I wasn't even able to get in the truck on the road until Thursday of the following week. So I was way behind, because they, that whole week pretty much up until Thursday, I just practiced out on the range and did pre-trip practice, going over the pre-trip. To me, the permit test, I had to go down to the license branch to take the permit test. It was so easy. I mean, I only missed one question, and I wouldn't have missed it if my ego hadn't got the best of me. See, because like the way they do it here, let's say there's a question you don't know, you can just skip it and go to the next one. And I advise everybody to do that, because once you get so many of them right, you automatically pass. But same goes for if you miss so many, you automatically fail. So that's what I'm saying. If your first 5 questions are really hard and you guess at them and miss them, it's going to mess your chances up of passing, because you're better off to just, if you don't know it, even if you're a little bit hesitant about it, just skip it, and hopefully you don't run out of, because eventually you'll have to come back to it. But I had one, I was kind of questioning. I was like, well, I think I know what it is, and I guessed on it and I missed it. That was the only question I missed out of the whole thing. So if I would have skipped it, probably the next question would have been something real easy. But anyway, so the first week is basically prepping you to get your permit test, at least until like Wednesday or Thursday. And then you're supposed to take your drug test that day, and then get put in the truck the next day. Well, like I said, it was all the way till Thursday of the next week before I even set foot in a truck on the road. And the director of the school, he went out with me a couple times, and a lot of the students were asking him like, hey, we're behind, are we going to be okay? And they talked about giving us another week, and he went out with us, and me and him went out one-on-one a couple times, and he said, no, you're ready, you're good, you'll pass. So I did. My first time out, first time I passed, went through the, you got to do your backing maneuvers. It's a point system. You know, if you go over the line, it's so many points. If you use a pull-up, that's so many points. And you get like a couple free pull-ups and, you know, some get out and looks for free. But then after you use those, you know, they count against you. But um, anyway, I passed, and basically that was when all these trucking companies started getting a hold of me, like wanting me to work for them. And the school, you know, they have some recruiters come in. They're affiliated with several companies, and the recruiters will come in. They'll bring you lunch and tell you how great their company is, you know, hoping that you'll go work for them. And I think they like send your information out to a bunch of companies, because man, I got bombarded with email. I'm still getting them. Like every day I get emails from different trucking companies want me to work for them. So it's definitely something, man. If you guys are looking to make some money right now, the money is crazy good compared to what it was. My dad was a truck driver back in the 90s, and I mean, it's not even, there's no comparison. I mean, it's not even on the same planet, really. Um, my dad drove over the road and locally, you know, throughout the years, and it's just so hard. It's hard to find people, and nobody wants to work. Nobody wants to, you know, put time towards advancing themselves, and everybody's lazy. And you know, we're feeling it right now. We're paying a price for it because, you know, you guys have seen inflation and stuff going up, and you know, the shipping crisis, the supply crisis, and all that stuff. You know, there's such a demand for drivers, and it's just that a lot of these truck drivers out there, they've been doing it for 20, 30 years, and they're getting ready to retire, and it's going to be even worse. I mean, when those guys quit and retire, um, it's not going to get any better. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I couldn't resist some of these. I had no intentions of being a truck driver. I thought about it and thought it would be cool to try. And then once I went down there, started messing with the trucks and driving them, you know, I kind of fell in. I'm a gearhead kind of guy anyway. I love anything with an engine on it, um, motorcycles, cars, and trucks. And, you know, once I got to fooling around with those trucks and driving them, I kind of just, you know, fell in love with them. So it's it's like an addiction kind of thing, I guess. But then I started thinking, you know, maybe this is something I want to do, and reached out to a couple different companies, and Werner was one that said they would take us with no experience whatsoever, basically straight out of truck driving school. So that's a plus. A lot of companies want you to have, you know, 6 months experience or whatever it may be. So you do have these big carriers, Schneider, Werner, um, several of them that will take you straight from truck driving school, and they put you through their training program and all that. So they kind of train you the way they want you to be trained from the beginning. So, you know, you don't, it's not something that you have to work at for years and years and years. You can go to school, get your license, and get a job. So, and guys, like I said, the money's good. You know, if you work, put the miles in, the money is there. I mean, it's, you know, the sky's the limit, I guess, depending on how far you want to go, and how much you want to, you know, better yourself. It's a huge responsibility, and I've got tons and tons and tons to learn. You know, I'm brand new, and I already have figured out, you know, it's a huge deal, and it's a big responsibility. And you know, I always respected the truckers anyway, being from a family, you know, that has truck drivers, and friends that, you know, I have friends that are truck drivers. But now I have much more respect for these guys. And I mean, it's it's a big job. It's a hard job, you know. If you're away from your family, you're out there on the road for weeks at a time, and you know, it's not it's not for everybody. So, you know, that being said, there's a huge opportunity right now for people. So yeah, if you have any questions or anything, let me know. That's basically, like I said, where I'm at. You know, do a little Google search in your area. I'm sure there's probably a school. You might have to drive a little bit, and they will even. There was a couple guys that went where I went to school. They were from far away, and they actually put them in a hotel so that they didn't have to drive so far. So I mean, you might find something like that. Um, you know, if you know anybody that has a truck, you can go out, let them show you. You know, your pre-trip is the pre-trip for a lot of people is really hard. But if you have any kind of knowledge at all of mechanics, the way things work and engine parts and you know how things are supposed to work, that'll help you on a pre-trip. But even if you don't, I mean, you just study, go over that study material, and just keep going over it, man. I mean, you go over something like that for days, and you're gonna catch on. You're gonna start remembering that stuff. So it's just something that it just kind of happened for me, and I'm rolling with it. I'm a realtor. I'm a licensed realtor in my state. I'm an entrepreneur. I do all kinds of things to make money. And, you know, I worked in a factory all my life until 2018. And that's when I decided to start doing what I wanted to do. That's when I went, got my real estate license, started doing that. I'm still licensed realtor. I have my license in referral status right now so that I can focus on this. But it's just something that is different. It's new for me. It's exciting, and I feel like, you know, the last job I had before a realtor, I was stuck there for 14 years and I got stagnant and things got stale. I got bored, and that happens. And I mean, when you get like that, you can never be happy, guys. Like if you are at a job and you're just grinding every day, the same old thing, and you just, you know, you're sick of it, you're just going to be miserable until you change something. It's up to you to change it. So, um, don't ever let anybody tell you that you can't do it too, because there's so many people that I worked with was like, you can't do that, or you can't quit, or you can't do this or do that. But I mean, most of the time when people tell you that you can't do something, it's because they can't do it, or they're too scared to try. And I figured that out real quick, and I wish I would have figured it out, 14 years ago. But anyway, better late than never. But go for it, man. Anybody, I mean, if you're even thinking about it, just look into it. At least call some places, email them, something, and figure out, is this something I can do? Is this something I want to do? And once you get down there, you start taking the classes. If that's the route you go, you you might be like me. You might just fall in love with it, and who knows what could happen. So I appreciate you guys watching and commenting, subscribing. If you would, hit that like button. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be glad to help you in any way I can. And stay safe out there. I hope to see you guys on the road someday. Later on.